Look at you, John. You think you could have built all this without me? I'm gonna burn it all down!
Ever since Seth Rollins has won the GCW Xtreme title, he has been absolutely unstoppable!
I did what I did to you, so that you wouldn't delude yourself, John.
A little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. What I want you to want, what I want you to feel, but it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So
I made the name JTM relevant again, and this is how you repay me!
I can't stand the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored.
JTM has had enough. Now he's gunning for Rollins' head along with his GCW Xtreme title.
Mr. Trademark, I applaud your attempts at resurrection. But you, dear boy, are not ready. Accept your role as my pawn, and maybe I will give you a chance at the title once I break Rollins.
This is it! With this monumental triple threat match at WrestleMania, 3 warriors will do war one last time. Will Bane do what he does best and conquer all? Will Seth Rollins bury both hatchets and remain the hardcore messiah? We can only wait and see if John Trademark is resurrected or JTM dies trying. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is arguably the most anticipated Xtreme title match in the history of GCW. John Trademark has made it known that he is finally done being under the thumb of a certain hardcore messiah in Seth Rollins, as the real JTM makes his appearance here in GCW Wrestlemania 11!
And what a huge match for JTM to be in after breaking free from Rollins. One of the 2 main events here on the biggest stage of them all.
I know I'm not the only one excited to see what John Trademark is truly capable of now that he's no longer with Seth Rollins. Will he be able to take the most prized possession from his former abuser?
I definitely could see the possibility of that happening. JTM, a former Intercontinental Champion. He can win championships, and he might again tonight.
But speaking of abusers, this man also knows Seth Rollins very well. In FAW, they were a part of the Shield with Bane as the leader. And Seth Rollins was nothing more than a lapdog for this man. Similar to how Seth Rollins viewed JTM. And if you ask me, my theory is, throughout all the years that Seth Rollins has been away from Bane, Bane's treatment of Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose haunted him, to the point where he eventually became Bane when it came to JTM.
Yeah, indeed, and Bane, not an official part of the GCW roster. He's from FAW, but you gotta say, he has had some of the best matches in GCW this year.
Yes, indeed, a lot of rich history going on here. And here comes the champ himself. Both of the men you see there in the middle of that ring absolutely despise this despicable SOB, Seth freaking Rollins. What in the hell?
Wow.
Seth Rollins just rolled up in the freaking Batmobile! And he's also donning the cape and cowl to boot! Mocking FAW's liberator, Bane, on his way to the biggest match he's ever had in GCW Wrestlemania history.
And these are the mind games that Rollins is so good at. You gotta think, is he still in JTM's head? And now with this, might he be in Bane's as well?
Seth freaking Rollins, no stranger to the mind games. But I think this past few months, he's met his match when it comes to Bane. But now, things are gonna come to a head when all three of these men finally get their hands on one another for the gold.
The following contest is a triple threat match for GCW Xtreme Championship. Introducing first, from parts unknown, and 235 pounds, Introducing next, from Gotham City, weighing 262 pounds, FAW's Liberator,
Seth Rollins has an unbelievable mountain to climb here if he wants to retain that championship tonight. As you can see, El Desperado from New Japan Pro Wrestling, next in line for the GCW Extreme title, watching very closely here. And as you can see, Seth Rollins heard my words. It's almost an impossible task for him to retain the title. And I guess he's just gonna let his two enemies kill each other. And now, wait a minute, JTM. Oh, he just jumps right into the headbutt from hell. Bane is very well known for his headbutts. He just laid out John Trademark just like that, using him as a stepping stone. With that plancha. But wait, JTM, no! Double foot stomp to the back of the head of the Liberator. And he's going right to his abuser. Bane just feels him off the freaking ramp.
My God! Look at the stomp to the neck.
We are already on an unbelievable start here as Bane is establishing dominance at the early getting. Oh! Huge elbow to the face of the champ, and now he's just punishing Rollins for all the years of torment, of being the one who got away. And oh! Rollins answers with an elbow of his own, looking for a Falcon Arrow. He nails it.
Misses.
Oh!
Oh!
Bane headbutted the freaking chair thanks to an assist from JTM. And now it's just JTM and Rollins in the middle of that ring. Something's gotta give, and it's gonna happen here at WrestleMania.
You think you can roll in the big leagues with me? Huh, kid?
Oh, nice kick.
Oh, JTM with the combos for days. Looking to get that catharticism going here with that double foot to the head.
Wow.
Right after Bane with that corkscrew moonsault dive. This man just comes up with moves on the fly. But that one was sure a classic. The pop-up into the enziguri on the way down. And JTM is looking to make Seth Rollins go way down further to his grave. As he's looking to put him away with this burning hammer attempt. Rollins on his feet, discus forearm.
That hit right on target, and another one to the neck. And a super kick to the back of the head.
Rollins is not going to let anything fly here when it comes to his forming
What?
disciple. Wow,
Oh!
counter into the double foot stomp. Landed right on his feet with a backflip to escape that sling blade. JTM is just something else. And now what's Bane doing? Setting up some tables on the outside.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
JTM's gotta have a plan when he wants to deal with Bane. but the Liberator just way too strong. He's been FAW's NXT champion for a long time. And he's looking to become Xtreme Style champion. Just pie faces JTM with that disrespect. Fires back to Bane, but it did nothing. Bane tries to go for another strike. JTM answers. Oh! Bane trying to go for the headbutt, but he eats a knee from JTM. And now Bane is stunned. What's JTM gonna do? Double foot stomp from the top through the tables, but Bane able to catch him off guard.
Yeah, that would have been bad for Bane, but now what?
No, hold on, wait a minute. What is Bane thinking? What does that look on his face say to us? Oh my God, no! No, not this! Not this, not from that high! No!
No!
Oh God! Murder! Murder in its purest form! Bane just freaking killed John Trademark!
This move ends opponents in the regular way, but this was just... oh my God!
I don't know if we're ever gonna see that resurrection! Stop! Curb stop from Rollins! But I don't know if that was enough to keep Bane down, and he knows it! He knows Bane better than anyone! Oh! Pop up into the headbutt off of the curb stomp!
Yeah, now both men are down. All three men are down. My God.
Yeah, JTM has not moved an inch since that devastating move by Bane from the top rope through the two tables. Nobody can get up from that. And I think Bane, that was his plan all along, to get rid of the dead weight so we can focus on Rollins. And now Bane has some steel steps in hand.
You deserve
and he's looking to chuck it.
Oh
God!
Holy shit, that fucking hurt. Shit.
He just yeeted the steps into the VIP section. Oh, flatliner there by Seth Rollins. Bane falling face first onto those steel steps that he introduced into the match. And now what's Rollins thinking? Curb stomp from that high through the steps. That's gotta be it. If he lands it at least. But oh, Bane's not gonna let that happen. Not by a long shot. There's too much history at stake. He's looking for that sleeper suplex onto the steps. Oh, Rollins thankfully fights back. But with a punch to the gut, Bane is back in control. Powerbomb onto the steps there. But wait, Rollins. Oh my God! Sunset flip onto the steps. Bane's spine has to be severed in half.
Yeah, it has to be the way he landed, pushing the steps away and then landing on the floor as well. That was the worst kind of landing Bane could have taken on that move.
It really looks like Seth Rollins and Bane know absolutely every single weakness from each other and are trying to use it to their benefit. And now Rollins looking for that buckle bomb, trying to target the spine again, but Bane with a destroyer! Shout out to Adam Cole, one of Bane's victims from the past!
Yeah, and now Bane has to get back up and follow up on the Xtreme Champion.
One thing that Bane never has, a lack thereof, is complete willpower. By any means necessary, he will make sure his opponents end up broken. And he's looking to do it again, another destroyer, but he lands into a super kick to the mush.
Well,
Bane, he's not done. Slingshot destroyer.
There, JTM.
Moonstop to Bane.
Oh my God.
New champion, no.
Oh, my God, was that close.
It was going to be the 3 count heard around the world, if not for Bane's resilience. And JTM knows just how tough Bane is. He went through a classic with him in FAW. I've seen it. And to be honest with you guys, if Bane wanted JTM gone, he would have done so with no problem, but now it's a different story.
If you won't stay down, go on. Give me your best shot.
Oh, Bane now baiting JTM to give him a best shot. Wait! From behind! Bane with the sleeper suplex just dunks him on his head!
What?
JTM is fired up! But he eats a headbutt right to the nose!
I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit or
This
your
is how he ended it, no!
But wait a minute with the roll-up! Oh, I thought JTM was gonna have it there! Pop up, JTM on the shoulders of Bane, looking for that psycho driver, but wait!
Oh, right in position for another one.
JTM's on a roll here. One more moonstop to call it a night. Oh, what a counter! Powerbomb onto the knee. One of the moves that put JTM away, but there's Rollins to reap the benefits. He has JTM right where he wants him with that curb stomp. Curb stomp. Rollins retains. Wait! The shoulder goes up, and JTM is still in the match. But Bane from behind! Sleeper suplex! Drives Seth Rollins onto his neck!
Oh no, John. I'm sorry. But it looks like we've reached the end now, you and I. Just stay
The defiance, the absolute defiance from John Trademark!
Uh-oh.
But he gets a knee as punishment for his wrongdoings! And now Bane, looking to put one final nail in John Trademark's coffin here at WrestleMania! Bane is What? JTM just kicked out!
There's no way!
The only other person to kick out of that move was Seth Rollins, but even then, Rollins just got lucky! JTM completely powered through!
And this was one of the worst looking ones I've seen. He landed right on the top of his head.
Oh God, now what's he gonna do?
The only one you're hurting is yourself, John. You have forced my hand.
Oh God, oh no! Oh, the gloves are off! The gloves are off for Bane and it's looking to murder JTM! Come on, somebody
Rollins.
stop this!
Look what happened to you, John. This is what happens when you listen to that monster instead of me. You should have stayed with me, hitting me with this belt. Now come on, get up. Get up, you son of a bitch.
Rollins making sure JTM knows that the final shot is coming for him.
Yeah.
Rollins
Oh my God.
pays JTM back in full with the belt to the face. I don't know how much longer this can go. I don't know how much more damage JTM can take.
Yeah,
He's
done.
a lifeless corpse at this point. But look! Telling Rollins to bring it on!
Unbelievable. What?
Reminiscent of WrestleMania last year! He baited Rollins with that high kick to the head! And now JTM with all watching!
Yes!
Stop the
Yes!
test of the champ! All he has to do is make the cover! And we'll have a new
Yes!
champion! Rollins kicks out! My God!
How?
This is epic! This is awesome! This is amazing! This is every adjective that you can think of from the book!
What way it would have been if JTM won the championship the way he basically won it for Rollins last year.
This is your last chance. This is your last chance. You lay down for me, and I'll forgive you.
Is
Come
Seth
on.
Rollins seriously
Do it.
trying to order around JTM at
Do it,
this point of the
JTM.
match?
Come on, no JTM.
Yeah, you tell him, John! You tell him!
Oh!
Stop for Rollins! Onto the steps! It's over! Whoa!
What?
Bane! Dragging
for
Rollins
fucking-
up the
you're
ramp!
really
Where the hell is he
fucking
going?
You will never
Escape me!
On top of the freaking Batmobile as Bane is listening in on the roar of the crowd. And now it's time to make Rollins pay. Smashing his spine onto the top of the car. Bane does not lack creativity when it comes to punishing his opponents, and he's been waiting to do this for a long time! But for Rollins, I guess he thinks Bane can keep waiting! With that low blow, and now Rollins, what's he thinking of doing here?
No.
Powerbomb? Off of the car?
No.
Oh my god! If he lands this,
Oh!
and Bane just slides down in a lifeless heap! Courtesy of Seth freaking Rollins!
Yeah, Bane is done for.
And you know, that had to feel good for Rollins. All those years ago, he was abused by Bane, and now he finally has a chance at payback.
Yeah. I mean, that fall was just bad for Bane here.
It's time to end this. Once and for all.
Whoa, hey,
No.
whoa.
Oh.
What in the hell?
This is
What in
going
the hell
too
is this-
far.
This maniac thinking!
This is too far.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He's not thinking of...
Someone
Luke?
gotta do something.
What's he doing?
No.
Oh no, you can't do this. You
No,
can't do
no!
this. Bane jumped out of the way at the last possible moment as Rollins just annihilated the ring. Have we ever seen anything quite this chaotic in GCW?
I can't recall. It's Rollins in bad
I
shape.
think Rollins just smashed his face onto the steering wheel
Yeah.
with the impact of the car meeting the post as the lifeless Rollins crawls out of the freaking car.
But
wait,
there!
there's JTM!
There! Yes!
There's hammer incoming! Wait,
What?
Who the hell is that? What the hell? That's Aleister Black! Black mass in the face of JTM! And Rollins! He retains! After everything JTM has suffered thus far to get to this point, it was all for nothing because Rollins had an ace in the hole, and his name is Aleister Black.